taditta, tadigenata ditta, tadigenata da, tadigenata 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 kit dumnatita, tatinta krdadita, katite katite de, tatida krde, tatinta katita, tunta da, takadimi katita, tunta da, takadimi katita, tunta da. Well, very good morning and Jai Hind, everyone. I am very excited to be here. Thank you so much for calling me. What you just heard was a Tihai in 5, which comes from the rhythmic expression pattern of Hindustani classical music that is predominantly used in Kathak. I'm extremely happy to be sharing my journey here today, a journey that revolves around rhythm, passion, and pursuit of purpose. But before I begin, let me give you a background of where I come from, who I am. I come from a family that is predominantly in our government officials, my dad or my brother or my great-grandfather. And I'm the first of my generation to take up performing arts as a career, and I've chosen to make it a livelihood doing this. And so my life in music began at the age of 9 here in this school through leisure time activity classes. I was an introvert kid back in the day and struggling to find a voice of my own. And little did I know that this introduction to drumming would actually be the defining soundtrack of my life. I remember I was 10 years old when I had my first stage performance, and something changed in me that day. I just knew it in myself that I was not the same person anymore. For an introvert kid to have a way of self-expression, it was as if I had discovered my hidden wings, as if I could fly. And I just wanted to keep doing it. I mean, all I could think of was play drums, listen to music, be on stage, perform. It's such a great place to be in. I could literally convey without speaking words. What a magical place to be in, trust me. I had discovered a state of joy, freedom, and expression, and I just did not wish to let go of it. Well, as fate would have it, I took it upon myself to train myself and develop on my skills, which I did. And I started playing on different festivals, events in school, and then later in colleges. When I was 13 years old, I got selected for a multi-talent reality TV show, and I ended up being a finalist on that show. Well, that was a whole new chapter, and I was introduced to a world that I never knew existed. That show not only allowed me to showcase my talent nationally and internationally, but also validated my potential as a musician. I could see that there is something, there is a way ahead. Now, when I came back, and for the shoot of this show, we used to travel to Bombay with a team, my teacher, and we used to stay there for a few days, come back, go back again to shoot another episode. So that went on for a few months. And suddenly this introvert kid was the popular kid in school. And but my exposure to that world, and I was 13 years old when all this was happening, my exposure to that world actually gave me a reality check, and I came to know that the benchmarks of national and international standards are really, really high, and I'm way far off to being even close to it. Now, when I came back, I remember talking to my brother on a phone, my older brother, and I was speaking to him, and I mentioned to him, you know, even though I got this chance of being on national TV and people loved me, people loved my performance, and I was appreciated all across, I knew that I was very restless, and I could not fathom the fact that, you know, something big has happened, and all I could think of internally was I want to reach there. I want to reach on the national map. I want to make a name for myself. I want to reach the global map, which I'm still trying to do, by the way. And all this was happening. And I was in 9th standard then. And the next couple of years happened to be years of juggling between academic pursuits and my passion for music. And though I managed to keep my grades decent, and that was going well for me. But what I really emphasized on was playing more and more, being on stage as much as I could. It was around this time that I started getting calls to play gigs outside with some senior musicians I knew, and I was collaborating with a lot of artists. And that was going well. I was in my teenage, school was happening. I was rehearsing, practicing, playing evening shows. And that was a great phase of life. And then Well, my original plan was never to be a musician or nothing to do with being an artist. I actually wanted to be an architect. And that was a vision that I had for myself since I was maybe 9, 10 years old. So I took up science in 11th and 12th. I taught myself maths, physics, chemistry. I taught myself how to sketch. I prepared for my architecture papers. I appeared for my architecture papers. I qualified them. I got selected in a bunch of colleges. What I really saw in those times and how I used to visualize my future if I became an architect was that yes, I could get a degree. If lucky, I could get a nice job. There was a secure path, a path with security, stable income. But who was I kidding? I wanted to create my own path. And maybe I was scared to admit it to myself back then, but now I realize that it wasn't meant for me. I wanted to have and create my own path. So I gave up all my seats. I decided to shift to Bombay in 2017. I took up admissions in KC College, Mumbai University. I did my management studies, undergraduate from there. And later on, I pursued my MBA from NMIMS Mumbai, which I just finished a few months ago. While all this was happening, my academic career was going, I started studying the language of drumming with some of the biggest figures, the finest drummers of this country. And in those few years, what I really did was attend a lot of concerts, watch live musicians play, because that is where I wanted to be, and take my lessons, go back home, practice, listen to really good music, because at the end of the day, input becomes output. And this applies to both music and life. Now, that phase of life really taught me that the importance of being committed to a routine, having that self-discipline, having that conviction that this is what I'm going to do every single day for the coming years. I'm going to cancel on my friend plans. I'm going to cancel on my partying plans. I'm not going to take the trip. I'm going to stay home. I'm going to practice, lock myself up for hours. And that's all I did for the next 3-4 years of my life. Well, all this was happening and my life changed. I met my guru, Maestro Ranjit Barot, who is a composer, musical director, producer, and a drummer himself. He is the guiding light of my life. And for a long time, I used to create and imagine these make-believe scenarios that I would be meeting him someday. I would spend some time with him. I would take a selfie with him, you know. And I manifested it like so much that today, I happen to work with him as a student and assistant. I work on various projects with him. And in doing so, I spend a lot of time with him, traveling in studio, in rehearsals, where all the background work is happening. I am with him. And that's where I learn. That is my institution. And mind you, one project with him is like one university semester overall. And I'm not even exaggerating, it's that heavy. And it takes time to absorb the material that I'm really soaking in just by being with him. And I'm learning music and life with him. Now, while this phase of my life is still on, I am an active performing drummer and a session drummer. I play with a bunch of bands, various genres, and I record for some upcoming independent artists based out of Mumbai and other cities too. And it's an exciting place to be in. I love being on stage. Performing on stage or in studio is pretty much, it's all about spreading joy, love, and peace. And it's just such a great state to be in. I just want to keep doing that for life. Nothing else do I really want except creating music and making music and playing for audiences that actually come to not only hear us, but listen to our stories, because it's all about self-expression at the end of the day. Well, while this is still on, I want to draw your attention to something that I faced growing up as a young musician and student. Because I don't come from a family of musicians, and I had to find my own ways around in life. And because of virtue of my profession, I am a freelancing musician. So I am a part of a gig economy where I get a job, I get paid. I get a project, I finish it, I get paid. Well, there may be no other project coming your way for a long time. So there are times when you're packed with work, but there's also the flip side of this kind of employment. And it can really be hard for some students, young kids, musicians, artists, people who are willing to turn their passion to profession, for them to firstly convince themselves that this is the path they want to choose. That the fact that you want to be a part of this unorganized system, you know. And in my understanding and in my experience of the past few years, what I've come to realize is that this entire system works on self-governance and self-discipline. If you have those, you can make it. And if you don't have those, work on it. Well, if you truly want to turn your passion into a profession and are serious about it and you want to be a part of this ecosystem, here are some things that I personally did and I still choose to continue to do every single day of my life to keep myself gainfully employed. Firstly, is to work on your art form. Your art should speak for yourself. And I am constantly, every single day, I am on my music, I'm practicing music, listening to music, playing my drums. I just want to reach a point where I don't have to say anything. I just have to play and audiences will know what I'm going through, what my life story is. I don't want words to express myself. And that's where I really see my music to go, taking my journey forward. Secondly, being aware of the industry is very important. Something that I personally take a lot of interest in is to know every new happenings in my industry, every new advancements. I want to stay on top of everything, and that's how I go about it. The other thing is networking. We have all learned about this everywhere. We are taught networking is very important, but I'm telling you, in a freelancing space, networking is the biggest tool to being gainfully employed, period. You cannot escape that. And again, so I try to network as much as I can, meeting organizers, owners, musicians, artists, creators, and collaborating. And that's an ongoing journey. It will never end, basically. And then there are some personal things that come into place. Having a vision for yourself and a belief in that vision is very important. I want to wake up every day and be better than what I was yesterday. That is my driving force, and I intend to keep it that way till I live. And then there is a great value system that you need to guide yourself in this journey. That has come from my family, my school, my guru, people that I work with, people that I surround myself with. That's the essence of life, and that's where I take all my values from and apply them in my life to take the right decisions and take the right actions, so that at the end of the day, people not only remember me as a good musician or an artist, you want people to remember you as a great human being and a loving human being at the end of the day. So these are some of the things that are really, really important that I personally continue to do, and I would encourage any young musician, budding artist to take this up seriously. Maybe this will even help you convince your parents at the end of the day, or convince yourself first. I mean, that's the most important thing. To sum it up, I would just say that I'm a young musician. My journey has just started. There is this long, long way ahead, and there are so much to explore, so much to find out, so many answers I need to find of countless questions that I have in my head. And I wish to keep working on myself, keep improving every single day. And for me personally, music is not just mere notes. It transcends beyond that. It's a way of life. It's an avenue of self-expression and discovery. And I am eagerly excited to explore the countless and limitless realms of music. And I want to see where life in music takes me.